Good day, everybody. This is Yin Yang in California with Morsels of a Thought number 1617. Let me see if I can get that shadow out of there. I don't think I can, but we'll see. Let's try. Well, hard to say, hard to say. I have a light issue here. Gosh, I have a light issue. That's okay. All right, so Morsels of a Thought number 1617 is to try to bring you happiness. It is to bring you morsels of a thought every single day to get you to get inspired to have a great day. It's like a big push on a roller coaster that is man powered from the bottom, and a little girl is sitting inside, and you go push it all the way up to the top and then you let it go. That's what I try to do. I try to bring you up and so you can go out and do the world. So I am here with Brain Rescue by Dr. Brody Miller. I think I put Dr. Brody by mistake. It should be Dr. Brody Miller. And he is a PhD that wrote a 90-day blueprint to reclaim your memory after a a brain injury or concussion. It could be a concussion, I suppose, if it's all put together. Anyway, Brain Rescue is a life. Oh, sorry, the camera. Oh, shoot. Did I just almost. Oh, sorry. Brain Rescue is a life changing guide packed with cutting edge neuroscience. It's a beacon of hope. John Assaraf, two-time New York Times best-selling author. So we're on page 63. And the last time we were talking about it was procrastination is the assassination of your destination, says Eileen Wilder. And the fifth step is C for consistency. We were supposed to get obsessed with consistency because the brain craves routine for its memory. So, most people, let's see, most people are great complainers, blamers, shamers, and finger pointers. Don't be like most people. Your brain craves routine for its memory. When you put in the work day after day, your brain starts adapting, unstoppable, immovable, like gravity itself. Consistency is the most powerful force in the universe, and when you harness it, nothing can stop you. There are two important steps in this process. Now we're starting. The first requirement is you must believe in the power of consistency. The second requirement is that you must be consistent by consistently taking action. In other words, when you're consistent, you also have to be consistent in being consistent. That's what he's trying to say. Let's make this very, very clear, he says. Bullet point. If you don't believe in the power of consistency and you're not consistent, you will feel down and your memory will never be as sharp as it could be. Number two, if you don't believe in the power of consistency but are consistent, you'll end up frustrated and disappointed in your results. Number three, if you believe in the power of consistency but aren't consistent, your memory will stay weak and you'll feel like you're always falling short. Finally, four, if you believe in the power of consistency and you stay consistent, your memory will become razor sharp and you'll feel more confident and capable every day. Action step. Start small. The doctor says, I'm not asking you to spend out 10 hours every day working on your recovery. That's not realistic. But what is realistic and incredibly effective is just measly 5 minutes a day. Just 5 measly minutes a day. If you dedicate just 5 minutes a day to specific memory exercises or any recovery activity, you will see the results. Let's do the math together. 5 times 365 equals 1,825 minutes. Divide that by 60 for the number of minutes in the hour. That adds up to over 30 hours in a year. That's more than an entire day's worth of focused work on your brain. Consistency, consistency consistently compounds. The sixth step is you. for understand. REFOUS. REFOCUS. Sorry. Understand that that there is a universe within you. So we just went through part C, REFOC, and we're coming down to US. Here, let me enjoy the light here. I'm gonna try to do. Never mind. Never mind. I'm trying to take the light and make it better. But the sixth step is U for understand. Understand that there is a universe within you. Understanding the fundamental workings of the brain, like how it functions and how it adapts, is arguably the most crucial element of your early recovery journey. When you understand the what and why of any subject, the how becomes much easier. Let's take a break here for us to say morsels of a thought, M.O.AT, is for wisdom. We want wisdom. Knowing the right thing to do in life, knowing the right things to do in life is called wisdom. And then doing the right things in life is virtue. We want to make this world full of virtue. So we start small, just like here. Start small, not asking about 10 hours every day, just 5 fucking minutes a day, and you've got this many over 30 hours. That's more than an entire day's worth of focused work on your brain. So consistency consistently compounds. Now, understand that there is a universe within you. Morsels of a Thought. We are reading Brain Rescue by Dr. Brody Miller. I put Dr. Brody in there by mistake, but it's actually his last name is Miller. And it is a 90-day blueprint to reclaim your memory after a brain injury or concussion. So, the principle of the step U is to understand. The principle is especially important to the realm of brain health. When you understand the what and why of any subject, the how becomes much easier. Doctor says, my primary goal with the patients I work with is to equip them with a fundamental understanding of how the brain functions and how it doesn't, so that they can apply this knowledge in their lives. After all, the word doctor comes from the Latin word docere, which means to teach. Docere, DOCERE. Teaching isn't just part of my role. It is at the very heart of what it means to be a doctor. With a solid grasp of the basics, you become less vulnerable to the influence of so-called experts who, quote, know what's best for you, end quote. Oh gosh, I have to tell you something about what I learned at the sleep clinic the other night. Now, they attached a whole bunch of electrodes to my brain and to my uh yes, I do. Thank you. To my brain, a lot of electrodes, and there was even something here and here and here and here. And it was just the other night, it was like night before last, I was at the Stanford Sleep Medicine Clinic, and I have to say, the tech that put me together said that there used to be a doctor there, and I've even met that doctor there when I've had my sleep clinic test many years earlier. And he was one of the OGs there. He started the clinic in the world. Stanford Sleep Medicine Clinic is the first one in the world. And then there were about 4,000 by the time I was having my previous one about 8 years ago. Anyway, this doctor has since passed, but he used to come up to you, and he did this to me too. He would come up to you and take one single look and say, you've got a problem with, and then he would say whether I had sleep apnea just by looking at me. And the other part of it was that he told me that my jaw had been pulled by the orthodontist, and it was interesting. He didn't go in depth to find out what was wrong with you, but he liked to tell you something that may or may not have been wrong. So, with a solid grasp of the basics of teaching. You become less vulnerable to the influences of so called experts who, quote, know what's best for you. We live in a time when knowledge and information are readily accessible to anyone who seeks it. Knowledge is like, knowledge is like Anyways, however, acquiring knowledge alone is not enough for true empowerment. Mastering the basics repeatedly is the key to any endeavor. In this chapter, my aim is to provide you with a solid foundation in understanding how the brain works. Dr. Brody Miller says, as we discussed earlier, the brain is the most important organ in the human body. Ever wondered what parts of your brain make you who you are? Let's dive into the key regions that define your thoughts, emotions, and actions. 10 essential brain regions that shape who you are. Just like each part of our body has its own functions, different parts of the brain have their own jobs too. Neuroscientists have made amazing strides in understanding these connections, showing us that damage to a specific brain area can lead to challenges to its function. What's astonishing is we learned more about the brain in the last 10 years than the last 10,000 years. Isn't it fascinating how interconnected our bodies and minds are? To better understand these crucial regions, let's explore the functions and potential impacts of damage to each one, beginning with the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe, located at the front of the brain, the frontal lobe is responsible for decision making, problem solving, emotional regulation, personality, attention, planning, speech, movement, impulse control, short term memory, thinking in terms of past and future, and more. Damage to the frontal lobe can lead to issues with impulsiveness, planning, mood swings, concentration, memory issues, and more. The frontal lobe, located at the parietal lobe, located at the upper back part of your brain, behind the top of your head, right where my hair stick is. Um, the parietal lobe is responsible for the perception of pain, touch, temperature, spatial awareness, sequencing, and mathematics. Damage can result in difficulties with sensory perception, coordination, and navigating environments. It can result in a condition known as neglect, where you can become unaware of one side of their body or their surroundings. Ooh. The temporal lobe, located next to the ears, the temporal lobe is responsible for hearing, emotions, auditory processing, comprehension, memory retrieval, auditory formed memories, and general memory. Damage to the temporal lobe can cause problems with memory formation, language processing, and processing sounds. Actually, in Kung Fu, that is also a death spot. So don't ever let anybody hit your temporal lobes. Um. Anyway, damage to the temporal lobe can cause problems with memory formation, language processing, and processing sounds. People may also experience difficulties in recognizing familiar faces or objects known as prosopagnosia. Occipital lobe, located at the back of the brain. The occipital lobe is responsible for the formation of visual memories and visual processing. Damage can lead to issues with visual perceptions, color recognition, and reading. Yeah, maybe. People may also experience visual field deficits where they lose sight in certain areas of their visual field. Oh, that's too bad. Oh my gosh. Okay. Brainstem. The brainstem is responsible for controlling vital functions such as heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure. Damage can cause problems with automatic functions such as irregular heartbeats or breathing patterns, decreased alertness, impaired reflex responses, and can even be life threatening. Yeah, that's another kung fu spot for death spot. Then be careful. Be careful of your whole brain, your whole head, please. Um, we are reading Brain Rescue, a 90-day blueprint to reclaim your memory after brain injury or concussion by Dr. Brody Miller, PhD. He is also a an experience. Dr. Brody is, well, here let me just read this what he says. The cerebellum, located at the back of the brain, understands the under. Cerebellum, look at, okay. Yes, I have had some brain damage. Yes, please don't make fun of me. Yes, I've had many concussions. I'll say that. Cerebellum located at the back of the brain underneath the occipital lobe. The cerebellum or mini brain, quote unquote, is responsible for accuracy, balance, coordination, often referred to as the ABCs of motor skills, and muscle tone regulation. It fine tunes movements and helps maintain posture. My cerebellum needs help. Damage can result in difficulties with motor control, balance, coordination, and fine motor skills. People may experience tremors, dizziness, and challenges with tasks requiring precise movements. There we are. You see this? Anyway, the hippocampus, located within the temporal lobe. The hippocampus is responsible for memory formation, particularly in converting short term memories into long term ones, as well as spatial navigation. It plays a significant role in learning and contextual memory. Damage can lead to difficulties with long term memory, learning new information, and retrieving past memories. Yes. People may suffer from anterograde amnesia, making it hard to form new memories after an injury. That's what happened to my mom when she had her dementia. Toward the end, she was very unable to make memories of what was going on at that moment. So it was really sad for her. The thalamus, located at the top of the brainstem, the thalamus is responsible for filtering brain activity. This includes deleting, distorting, and generalizing information, often referred to as the, quote, thalamic gate, end quote. It relays sensory and motor signals to the cerebral cortex. Damage can lead to problems with sensory processing, altered states of consciousness, and sleep regulation issues, potentially resulting in insomnia or hypersomnia. Amygdala, located deep within the temporal lobes, that's not later lizard brain. The amygdala is responsible for emotion regulation, fear processing, and the formation of emotional memories. It plays a critical role in assessing threats and triggering appropriate emotional responses. The amygdala. Damage can result in issues with emotional responses, such as difficulty identifying or expressing emotions, and changes in social behavior, making it hard to relate to others in social contexts. The amygdala is the part that makes your, oh boy, hold on a second. It comes into here. This is a picture of this is a diagram of the brain. The frontal lobe is where my forehead is, and then the temporal lobe is behind my ears, and then the parietal lobe is up where my hair stick is. The occipital lobe is also where my hair stick is. The cerebellum is at the base of my neck, where somebody would grab me if they were trying to strangle me. Brainstem, same thing. So those are the parts that you have to be careful with. As a woman, safety is a constant issue. We always have to assess whether we're out and about with great consciousness or not. And that is when you feel, if you're feeling too tired, you won't even go out your door. You don't want to go out your door because it is not safe for you, because you will not be able to process any stressful situations. So deep in the, I would say this is a story coming up on page 68. Alex Honnold's Fearless Brain. What makes him different? Deep in the towering granite walls of Yosemite National Park, Alex Honnold prepared for the climb that would make him famous, El Capitan without ropes. For most people, even thinking about this would make their amygdala, the part of the brain that controls fear, go into overdrive. Their palms would sweat, their heart would race, and their whole body would feel panicked at the idea of being too high up with no safety ropes. But Alex was different. Neuroscientists studied Alex's brain because they were amazed by how little fear he felt. So, scans of his amygdala showed something incredible. It was much quieter than in most people. While other people's amygdalas would react strongly to danger, Alex's stayed calm. This unusual feature of his brain allowed him to stay focused and plan carefully instead of being overwhelmed by fear. Alex Honnold's story shows how different brains can work in very unique ways. While one person might see something as impossible, someone like Alex might see it as a challenge they can figure out. It's a reminder that differences in our brains don't just shape who we are, but also how we deal with the world around us. So, can you imagine? I would say, just gleaning off of this and knowing my own brain and how I used to process things before and after most injuries. After certain serious injuries, my personality changed, and it was partly because of the changes in the I have an overactive amygdala, and it means that I go into overdrive very quickly, and I'm supposed to try to soothe the amygdala. And the way to do that is to breathe deeply and shrug the shoulders and push out, saying like this, and then taking 4 square breaths, which I don't know how to do. But the people that teach me this tell me to do this 4 breaths, and then to soothe your brain, to quiet your brain down. You breathe in, you breathe out, like Thich Nhat Hanh used to say. You breathe in, you breathe out, and you watch your own breathing. You can lie down and you can lie down and put your hand on your chest and your other hand on your stomach and breathe in and breathe out and watch your hands as they move slowly up and down, and you will find that you will soothe whatever they call it in your body. I've been told it was the vagus nerve. I don't know. I'm no doctor. I'm no expert. And I'm certainly not a PhD like Dr. Brody Miller is. What I'm doing is I'm reading from his book, out of his book, and then I'm giving you some of my examples that assist and support his information that you're getting here. There's a lot of wisdom in this book, so please go get it. Please go get it. I would highly recommend you read along with us. And we are now on page 68, and you still have time. There are way more than 200 pages in this book, so you have plenty of time to buy the book. It's available. I don't think you can get an autographed book like I got, but that's beside the point. Okay, so I hope you have a great day. Okay, old Kinderhook. That's wait. Okay, okay. That's a K. That's an O. Old Kinderhook was Martin Van Buren, the 8th president of the United States. Old Kinderhook.